Welcome back. Now let's continue with our coverage regarding the national shutdown that's set to take place tomorrow. Government says services will be operational tomorrow despite the planned national shutdown by the economic freedom fighters. Police and more than 3,000 soldiers are on standby. Let's hear what the South African Union of Students' position is with the spokesperson, Asive Dlanjwa. Thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it. Let's just speak about the students' stance on this. Will you be participating in the national shutdown tomorrow?
Good evening, Heidi, and thank you for having us. The union will not be participating in the shutdown tomorrow. The Union of Students, number one, and number two, I think as a union we respect that all South Africans should have the responsibility, or rather should be able to exercise their constitutional rights. And we believe that in exercising their constitutional rights, it should not necessarily impede on anyone else to be able to exercise any of their constitutional rights.
So you say that as the union, you will not be participating in the shutdown. Can you give us a sense of how many students you represent and if they are also on board with this decision not to participate in the shutdown?
We represent about 1.1 million students across the university sector, 1. 2, we met with SRCs across the country on Friday regarding some of the issues and the challenges that might be faced in the sector. Before that Friday, a week earlier, we also met again with SRCs down in Durban, also to deal and thrash out all the other issues that they could be facing in institutions of higher learning across for the whole entire 1.1 million population. And there was no sense, that we should go to a shutdown or that we should support any shutdown. So our sense is not an assumed sense. We met with SRCs to deliberate on issues affecting the sector. There was no sense to support a shutdown, nor was there a sense to shut down either, be it universities or the country for that matter. So, those are the amount of students that we represent. And so we make this claim not populistically but be based on the fact that we have actually met with our students, and there's no sense or appetite to shut down anything for that matter.
What about the Western Cape and here in Gauteng? And I ask this in the context of what we've recently seen in the past couple of weeks with unrest, specifically at Wits University. I
suppose what you mean, what about them? Will they go on a shutdown or will they not?
Yes, have you engaged with them in the Western Cape and here in Gauteng? Are they in agreement with you to not participate in the shutdown?
Except for UCT, all the institutions were in attendance on Friday when we met with them in Birchwood on Friday. All the institutions were represented in Gauteng. So these are all the institutions when I say we met with them. So, and we're on the same page. And I think I probably should clarify this. The reality is that amongst some of our members are members that affiliate to various political organizations, and that is their constitutional right, also enshrined in the principle and the values of the Union of Students, which I'm speaking on behalf of. And we will respect anyone's constitutional right. However, we are saying, based on our meeting, number one, we have no view that anything should be shut down. As far as we are concerned, based on the work and the deliberations that we have had on Friday, tomorrow is a normal day. Our students are going to work, or rather they are going to school as normal, and that there is nothing that warrants such actions, and that whatever and any other student that chooses whatever constitute decisions they choose to make tomorrow, empowered by the Constitution of South Africa, should not impede on the ability of any other citizen, in particular in the name of the union, impede on anyone else's right to be able to exercise any of their constitutional rights.
Are you able to tell us why UCT was not there?
We do not know. In fact, let me say we do not know. I would have to check with the Secretary General as to why they were not. They handle obviously those invitations and administrations. But even then, I don't think it was because it had anything to do with the shutdown or it had anything to do with the union. In any case, of all 26 universities, when we invite them, we will get one or two university not pitching. For instance, there was a few other institutions that were not there when we met in Durban that were there this time. There were other institutions that were there that might not have been there in Durban. And it's not to say that any of them have defined themselves outside. When you take, for instance, right now, as per the declaration by NSFAS about a day ago, as to the efforts which we have undergone as a union, everyone is a beneficiary thereof. When we said all students' food allowances must increase by 10%, and the department through NSFAS agreed, and they released a communique that based on our engagements and proposals, they have now decided to increase the allowances by 10%. It's all 1.1 million students who are benefiting from that. So whether some came or some, but there is only one voice and one leadership in the sector, and that is ourselves. And we make the attempt to engage with all our affiliates, which is all the institutions. So we do not take lightly the responsibility that we have to coordinate the sector, nor do we make these claims lightly or populistically, but it is based on engagements across the sector to say that tomorrow shall be a normal day for all South Africans.
Sure. So what happens if there is some disruption at universities? I mean, you've come out to say you're not participating in this. People might feel they have a right, as enshrined in our constitution, to protest. Of course, no violence is allowed. But what if there is some kind of massive disruptions at higher institutions?
If it has anything to do, once again, if there are any protests by anyone, we have no problem with that as a union. But a shutdown and the impediment of the rights of other students to be able to exercise their constitutional right to study, especially under the disguise of the union, or purportedly to deal with some of the issues that is said by some of the people which they say they will deal. Those issues are issues that we believe as a union. Our democratic dispensation gives provision to people to be able to deal with such issues. For instance, as far as we are concerned as the union, who gets to lead the country is a product of a democratic process. It is not a product of shutdown. So when, if any of our students or any of our affiliates, especially in the name of the union, is going to participate in a supposed regime change to call for a new president or the removal of another president of a country, outside the framework and the infrastructure of our constitution, then we are saying the law must take its course, because that would be almost tantamount to treason. So to shut down a country, to do something which the constitution already permits, but you want to do it outside the framework of the constitution. So as far as that is concerned, we are completely against, and we still do not believe that there isn't anything currently based on our deliberations in the sector that should warrant that anyone's right should be stripped away tomorrow to do anything, whether it be to go to work or to go to class or to even protest for that particular matter.
Okay, thank you so much for your insights. We do appreciate it. That is SA Union of Students spokesperson Asive Dlanjwa. And as you heard, the 1 million or so students that the union represents will not be participating in any form of shutdown tomorrow.